All right, 7 o'clock. I call to order the Perry Township Board of Trustees meeting for April 12th, 2022. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Mears,
Yes.
trustee Music.
Yes. All right, good evening, everyone. We have a guest speaker. First thing, Ms. Johnson from Preble County Job and Family Services.
Hi, I'm Kelsey. I work with Preble County Job and Family Services. I work as an eligibility referral specialist. What I do is when we have people apply for SNAP cash medical, if they're receiving SNAP and they don't meet an exemption, like say they don't have small children in the home, they have medical issues and they get a note from the doctor that they be exempt at that time. If they don't meet any exemptions, they come to me. I schedule an appointment with them. I kind of we go over their strengths, their skills. And then if I don't find any exemptions for them, I would place them at a website. WEP stands for Work Experience Program. We have several throughout Preble County. We're kind of broadening our horizons a little bit just because a lot of our people, they've had rough pasts. They don't do well with some of the crowds that they see regularly in Preble County. And they're like, I'm trying to better my life. I'm trying to do better. So that was one of my biggest reasons for reaching out to you guys. And I know I discussed with you through email a little bit. I did make some copies of the PowerPoint I had sent you. I don't think I made enough.
If you have some for the other trustees, I have a copy. in the
Okay.
email.
Yeah. Okay, so you had one?
Yeah.
Thank you. You can have my own copy. So like I said, it's a work experience program. The major points of this program is the web workers, they cannot replace a paid employee. So they can come out, they can do janitorial work, clean the building. They can do anything a paid employee does, but nobody can be fired and used as a replacement for it. And they can't prevent you guys from hiring an employee. I know I do have a number if you guys wanted to call and ask. I don't know if any of you know Adam Beneke. He worked at Township. He did the program for a long time with the county. I'm new to the position. He said he's more than welcome. If you guys want to call, ask any questions, he would be able to walk you through it, anything like that. So when they come to me and I figure out what my workers, what they are comfortable doing, a lot of them are like, oh, I really like being outdoors. I like to go around. I know Township, they have them help out at the cemetery, picking up sticks, raking, leaving, bagging up grass and stuff once they're done mowing. I would get a list from you guys. We have this little agreement we do once a year. We usually do it in around June. You guys would fill out and list if you were to hire an employee, you would list what the job title would be. You would list how much that job would be paid. You don't have to worry about paying at all. They are essentially working so many hours each month to receive their food benefits. If anything happens, there are no liabilities for you guys. The county would cover any type of workers' comp, if any accidents happen, all of that. So there's no financial, you wouldn't have to deal with any of that. All of that is covered by the county. The only thing is if someone is placed here at the time of the appointment, I would sit them down and say, hey, this is what Perry Township has. It'd be outdoors if that's what you guys choose. Like it could be a little bit of office work, could be a little bit of janitorial. And for that time, they're like, yeah, that sounds good. I would reach out to whoever you guys wanted to be the spokesperson, I guess. I would reach out to you that time and say, hey, I have a potential web worker here. Are you able to take anybody at this time? If you are, then I'd say, okay, well, they're going to meet with you on this day and this time, whatever works for you guys. And at that time, they would create their calendar for the following month. I would mail out the calendar, you'd receive it in the mail. And you guys would create a schedule that works for both you and them, for them to, I think typically the hours is about 26 a month. So it's not a whole lot. You can have them start at your start time and leave at the end time, whatever works best for you guys between the two of you. We do ask that if someone is placed here, if they are scheduled to show up on the 20th and they don't show up, don't call you, don't anything, they are supposed to call before their scheduled start time, because this is a work experience program. It's supposed to give them not only like skills like, oh, I can add landscaping to my resume now because I helped out with landscaping around the township. It's also to help them gain skills like, are they showing up on time like you would for a job? If something happens and you're sick, are you calling in and letting them know like, hey, I'm not going to make it in today? Transportation is a big issue for some of my clients. So we just ask if something happens, they don't show up, they don't call you. Even if they do call, I ask that I either get an email or a phone call and say, hey, Sally didn't show up today. We didn't hear from her, because at that point I would send them a notice of alleged failure and they would have 7 days to get with me and say, hey, my transportation, their car broke down and I couldn't make it over there. And then I would get verification of that. If they don't, I do place a sanction, and they do, if they don't turn in verification, they at that time potentially lose their SNAP benefits. So my main goal here is, a lot of my customers I see, a lot of them are just down on their luck, or they've had a rough past and they're trying to better themselves now. And I want to help them gain skills and references that they can put on resumes to try and get back on their feet.
Who's responsible for them? Like if Mr. Hoops has them in the cemetery, does he have to stay with them the entire time?
That is really up to you guys. I mean, if something were to happen and they got hurt and workers' comp had to come into play, the county would cover that.
Okay.
Now, we've had, I believe I've talked to Adam and he told me, he was like, you know, he's like, once, typically we place somebody and they're there for about 6 months before I meet with them again. And I say, hey, how's it going? I do monthly check-ins, but that's more of just like, hey, how's everything going at the site? Are you getting along with everybody? But I mean, it'd be more up to you guys if you wanted someone to stay and supervise the entire time.
Right.
And then I would also check in with you guys. So if someone would be placed here and say, it's not working out, at any time you guys can reach out to me and say, hey, they're showing up, but they're not really doing anything. At that time, I would schedule an appointment with them and say, hey, like this was reported, what's going on? And then we would look at placing them somewhere else at that time.
Any other questions? Any questions?
That was my question.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Well, thank you for your time. We'll discuss it. We'll talk about it and we'll get back.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep. You're under no obligation to stay.
I would, but I can go somewhere else this week if I stay any longer.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
At this time, I move to adjourn into executive session pursuant to ORC 121.22 G1 to discuss the employment and compensation of a public employee.
Second that motion.
Trustee Music,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Mears.
Yes.
And at this time, I make a motion to re-enter into normal session.
Second.
Trustee Mears,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Music.
Yes.
All right. This evening on the consent agenda, we have the acceptance of meeting minutes from March 1st, March 8th, and March 23rd, 2022. Approval of bills. Electric warrants 82-2022 through 119-2022. Checks numbered 36932 through 36990. Approval of blanket certificates, and the PO is
Purchase orders.
purchase orders. I'll get that. Issued between March 1st, 2022 and March 31st, 2022. blanket certificate 107-2022 through 111-2022.
And no POs.
And no P's.
I'll say-
Yep.
I'll second it.
Who made the motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second that.
Trustee Mears,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Music.
Yes.
Ms. Grill, Ms. Foster.
Okay, just still no update back on the OPERS issue. Still waiting to hear back from Social Security. I've been told that it could take a while. We're just now ending tax season and stuff, so a lot of them are overwhelmed with that. Since last meeting, I met with trustee Hartshorn and Mr. Hoops to discuss the 2022 budget. The 2022 permanent appropriations have been filed and entered into the UAN system. We did receive notice from PERSO that a settlement regarding the claimant estate of Donna Walter has been settled. The Township law enforcement liability has a benefit has a deductible of $2,000. I just need to know, are we going to be paying this from the police budget?
Do we have a fund that would support that being paid out?
Not that there's a line item currently set up for that.
Okay.
But that we could sit down and go through that and
Okay,
take care of that.
If we can get a line item set up, then that's great. Otherwise,
Okay.
the only other option is the general fund.
I mean, we have a little bit of room within the budget, so it's nothing that we would have to set up a new fund or anything. We would just have to set up a new account code.
Okay.
For legal expenses. I also worked with Chief Littleton and Beth Putnam regarding the Perry Township Police Department having been placed under a do not spend status regarding the equitable sharing agreement with the Department of Treasury. At the March 1st, 2022 Special Board of Trustees meeting, the trustees passed Resolution 2210 and 2211, allowing the township to establish and appropriate funds for Fund 2251. The trustees also passed Resolution 2212, which allowed the transfer of $1,556.92 from Fund 2261 to 2251. Upon completion of all required documents were provided to Ms. Putnam to show that the Perry Township Police Department has taken the necessary actions to correct an error dating back to 2015. Chief Littleton has since received communication from the Department of Treasury stating that the do not spend status has been reversed. The Perry Township Police is no longer prohibited from obligating or spending Treasury equitable sharing funds and is again eligible to receive Treasury equitable funds that result from its participation in investigations conducted with federal agencies that participate in the Treasury Equitable Sharing Program. When I came in and we started doing a review with the cemeteries and stuff like that, Caleb and I had sat down and Karen and I had sat down and kind of gone through everything. It was discovered that we had not billed Dodd's Memorial for foundations in the cemetery. Those foundations were from years 2015 through 2020. So Mr. Hoops had submitted those bills to them. We did receive a check from Dodd's in the amount of $8,922.38. And then just the only other thing I have is just some upcoming events. I will be helping with the Easter egg hunt at Sycamore Park on Saturday. I have a monthly meeting scheduled with trustee Hartshorn and Mr. Hoops to discuss the budget and stuff for the roads and cemeteries on the 22nd. And then I'm also attending a Ohio Township Association webinar for preparing for an audit of ARPA expenditures, what to do now. And Karen's going to sit in with me on that since she's helping kind of administer keeping all the records and stuff of that. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Road and cemetery report.
For our cemeteries, we had 2 burials and 1 cremation this past month. Burial and a cremation at Piermont and 1 burial at Pleasant Hill. We have all of our footers dug
for our foundations. We're just waiting on better weather to pour our concrete. I talked with Ben and I met with him this afternoon from Alliance, and we are planning the archway removal of next week. We're gonna try to shoot for Monday morning, depending weather. So that's the plan currently. We also have a reminder that save the date for April 30th at 2 p.m. at Providence Lutheran Church. The Daughters of the American Revolution are honoring Sebastian Heater. He was a Revolutionary War patriot. They will be placing a plaque and marker at his gravesite. That'll be a ceremony, and seems to be like it'll be pretty interesting, pretty cool to see it. So I just want to let everybody know that in the public. Our equipment, all the trucks are set up for summer use. We're currently going over and looking for any major issues and addressing them as needed. We're also cleaning and washing them and just getting them ready to sit for the summer. Still trying to find a dump truck that fits our budget and needs. We just got our road mower back from a hydraulic pump leak. It's been serviced, gone through and gone over, and it is ready for the summer. The building, we cut out the concrete and jackhammered for our new drains, and they are all installed. We are working on cleaning up our building, cleaning up the outside. We just started spraying today. Also just some thoughts on power washing the building and get it painted. Also need to look at maybe resealing our roof in the coming years, something to look into, something about also for putting money towards that. Our roads, we've been cleaning up the roads, clean up down trees from the debris from the windstorm, which sounds like another one tomorrow night. We've been pothole patching. We dipped a new ditch along Keener Road and put in the 6-inch tile. Hopefully we'll dry up that corner. Also update on the Wolf Creek watershed program. I met last Wednesday for the pre-construction meeting for that. The company TNT has moved into the project work area and they have began work on the cleaning up damage. They're scheduled to be completed by May 2nd.
And they sent notification that they started that.
Yes.
this week.
Yep. They moved in yesterday. I think they worked a half day. Or they moved in Monday and worked a half day.
Where are you out of, Caleb?
They're actually out of Greenwich, Kentucky. So they got a pretty good drive. The company's pretty big. They work in the tri-state area. They worked a lot in Virginia. ICE, they have like an environmental side and a construction side. So they're pretty big. So that's all I got.
Police report. Oh, did you have a question? No.
What about your second page?
Talking about the cemetery pricing.
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
Our March stats are posted to our website. Reminder, our Easter egg hunt is this Saturday, April 16th at 1 p.m. at the Sycamore Park there on Providence. Encourage everybody to come out. We got over 10,000 eggs that's been stuffed with candy. We have a lot of prizes to hand out. I want to thank everyone who donated, not just monetarily, but their time to stuff these eggs. With your continued support is what keeps our events going. This evening, I swore in Officer Dylan Tharp at $17 an hour for a full-time position. So if I can get a motion to accept the appointment of Mr. Tharp with the effective date of today.
I make that motion to accept Dylan Tharp at $17 an hour beginning today, April 12th.
Seconded.
Trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Mears,
Yes.
trustee Music.
Yes.
Currently, I'm still working on the budget for potential new levy, getting that budget laid out to show what that would look like. On March 28th, Officer Anthony Wynn was awarded Officer of the Year for 2021 at the Brookville Optimist Club. And I'll just read a couple of short paragraphs here about Officer Wynn, which is why he was nominated for this award. Officer Anthony Wynn has been a member of the Perry Township Police Department for almost a year. During this time, we have seen him grow and mature as an example for other officers and our community. Being to the midnight shift has not hindered Officer Wynn on his efforts and desires to help protect the roadways in our community along with surrounding communities. He has completed approximately 20 OVI traffic stops, with more than half of them being successfully convicted. Now, some of you might think that nothing happens on midnights out here in Perry Township, and that's not true. Officer Wynn has experienced a variety of priority calls where people's lives are heavily affected. Officer Wynn has shown his ability to communicate effectively during these troubling times with compassion and understanding, thus reflecting greatly upon his character and professionalism. These are just some of the several reasons why Officer Wynn was nominated. If you see him out in the community, I encourage you to stop and say hi to him and congratulate him on his success. And that's all that I have.
Did you still want the executive session?
I've been informed that that's been handled.
Did you want to go over the compensation?
If we can, if that's something that wasn't discussed.
You,
Me?
no, he wants, to,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Had a long day. I apologize.
He wants to talk about it for his officers. Not for his officers. He wants to give them compensation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Compensation for the officers.
Yes.
Is that the ARP?
No.
Okay. What compensation are we speaking of?
Want to go into executive session to discuss that?
To discuss the compensation for.
Can I make a motion to adjourn into executive session pursuant to ORC 21.22G1 to discuss the discipline and compensation of a public employee?
I second.
Trustee Mears,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Music.
Yes.
At this time, I'll make a motion to return to regular session.
Second.
Trustee Mears,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Music.
Yes.
At this time, I'll make a motion to increase Officer Brian Douglas's pay rate to $17 an hour effective April 4th, 2022.
The rest of them.
What's that?
The rest of them.
Oh, do all three of them? Okay. As Anthony Wynn increased to $18.50 an hour, and Officer Stephen Payne to $18.50 an hour as well. Effective date, April 4th, 2022.
Second that motion.
Trustee Music,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Mears.
Yes.
Do you have anything else, Chief?
That's it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Zoning Department.
Okay. Still working with Caleb on the cemetery logs, and they are bringing me in the receipt books that they have found, and so we're getting all those into the system. Just want to remind everybody that the office will be closed Friday, April 15th for Good Friday. We'll reopen on Monday at 8 a.m. There was 1,297 trash bills sent out on March 28th. And the payments have been coming in. And as of today, we've received 437 payments. Things are moving forward on the two properties in Paramount for demoing. One of them is on the list for late summer, early fall, and she's working on getting the other one on the list. I've got 3 pending permits. I've issued 2 permits since the last trustee meeting, 1 barn and 1 agriculture shelter. And now that the weather's opening up, I will be checking properties and starting sending out the letters of the courtesy letters for them if they need to clean up or whatever. And then they'll be followed up with nuisance abatements.
Okay.
So, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee reports. Last month, I've continued working to update the township social media as well as the website with Oasis. I've worked with Miss Kaler on teaching her how to post up on the Facebook page for the township. Perform general IT maintenance and upkeep of the township PCs and systems. Set up new Office 365 sub-accounts for zoning and road maintenance PCs. And fixed the login issue on the meeting room PC that occurred last week. Continued weekly driving inspections of township roads, cemeteries, and nuisance properties. And attended the OPWC District 4 meeting. And collected tornado damage and recovery information for the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission disaster recovery efforts. I'll also be attending the Ohio Township Association, or no, sorry, that's the Department of Treasury, ARP funding documentation webinar that they're going to be having in a couple weeks. And that's all I have. Trustee Mears.
Okay, I attended a webinar during the trustees. So attended the Clay Township meeting, worked with Miss Kaler on how we get houses condemned, which has been a nightmare. Dale and I stuffed eggs. We also want to do special thanks to Judy Shirley and Paul for stuffing eggs. Contacted Chief Fletcher at Brookville Fire Department about attending the Easter egg hunt, which they'll be there. Unless there's something, hoping that our CTC criminal justice students will help with the Easter egg hunt. Was contacted by Jane Brooks, who wants to help with our cemeteries. So I'll be getting with Mr. Hoops and she can get in contact with you. As soon as the weather gets a little warmer, plan on going down to our records room and start sorting through and organizing the room. Talked with Miss Burrow about using ARP money for our handbook. And she was kind enough to run this proposal off. I'll give it to you guys and you can look at it. But this is only valid through 2021, so we'll have to go back through it. But this is the one from Lexpol, which Chief Littleton gave us and has a lot of information. Let's see. Want to thank Miss Kaler for all the great work that she's been doing for the township. It's never ending. I ended up going to court with Mr. Hoops yesterday. And also I was invited to attend the Montgomery County Memorial Service down at Riverscape, which will be May 6th. And also Chief Kaiser would like for us to put on our website that no open burns in Perry Township from 3:31 or 3:1 to 5:31, if we could do that.
I think it's on there.
It's on there, okay.
We've already got
Okay.
the hours, not till after 6 p.m.
Gotcha, okay. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Music.
Okay. I attended the, I think it was the last meeting until planting for the retreat. They will be starting that planting on April 30th. The week prior to that, they will have folks out marking the people who signed up to receive trees. So anybody's listening to this, answer your phone if you don't recognize the number. It's probably somebody coming to mark your property. It's somebody coming to schedule what trees are going to be where they're going to put them on your property. So Perry Township had an amazing turnout list of people who wanted trees. There's gonna be a lot of new trees in Perry Township. That is just for the spring planting. There is also going to be a fall planting. And I believe if you miss the opportunity to sign up to receive trees that were damaged during the tornado, there is still an opportunity. Email me. I'll make sure we get the right paperwork to you. Make sure we can do that. I also attended, I think that was, let me just make sure my notes say. I think that's it on the retreat. Again, planting on April 30th. Oh, if you want to volunteer for that, there is opportunities to volunteer on Saturday, the 30th. I have not been told where the meeting location is at. It's going to be somewhere semi-central to where the tornado path went through, but that could stretch anywhere from Vandalia to Perry Township. It won't be in Perry Township. We didn't have anywhere that we could facilitate that. There was talk about having it at a Golden Gate Park. That's also opening day for Brookville baseball. So the park's full. So I'm not sure what they decided where they're going to have that.
Right.
But okay. I also attended the Brookville Optimist Club award night. It was nice to see Perry Township officer recognized there. They were the Optimus Club was extremely thrilled that we were participating in that again. So obviously Saturday is the Easter egg hunt. The Air Hill Road Bridge is closed as of right now. I checked it out yesterday, day before. It's completely gone. I think they took it out in 2 days. And so they're working on building that back. I will also be attending the Montgomery County Officer Memorial Service. I think that's, oh, and then I've given all the trustees, actually, I think everyone here at the table has a copy of proposals for new rates for the cemetery. I've done a lot of calling, a lot of talking to other townships. A lot of our neighboring township cemeteries are now full. They're not selling anymore. We are, I think us and Clay are one of the only two in the vicinity that still have township lots available. So this proposal for everybody to look at, we can discuss it at a later date if we want to move forward with adjusting these rates. Brings us up to pretty much just par with everybody else. There is no, I don't believe we're going to be more expensive than anyone on any one thing. I have to get with Ms. Kaler still on certain fees, return check fees. It looks like I think needs to be adjusted from what we have currently have posted. We don't have any kind of for a deed loss replacement cost. That's just not something I don't think we've actually dealt with, but it may. And then I know footer costs, concrete's gone up, concrete prices have changed. We need to readdress that to bring that more in line to where we need to be. So, like I said, everybody's got a copy. Look it over, see what you could come up with.
And that is one thing, Zach, that they did talk about at Clay. They raised all theirs, everything across the board. They raised it up $50.
$50 across the board. And so so this took that into account.
Okay.
Because I was aware of that. And then we were grossly behind on a few other
Okay.
things. So like I said, we'll retouch that later.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Thank you.
Oh, we did discuss before the meeting that going forward, apparently there was an issue with the password on calling in for Zoom. That has been resolved going forward. We made sure
It'll be
that,
posted with the information.
so
Somehow it got taken off the,
there was an issue with that. That is fixed. That will be fixed going forward.
old business.
Okay.
Any topics for old business?
No.
Okay, new business. Okay. Visitors.
Do you want to do this?
Oh,
Yes, we didn't have that on there. Yes.
That's the only one we have.
So we have one submission for the cemetery mowing that we're now opening. The total per mow is $1,115. $415 for Pleasant Hill, $305 for Eversole, $90 for Landis, sorry, and $305 for Piermont. Their equipment listing is 52. They have one 52-inch mower. They have a 45-inch stand-on mower, a 36-inch stand-on mower, 30-inch push mower, 20-inch push mower. They carry a $2 million insurance policy with Hiscox Insurance, family-owned and operated business. And they are relatively local. I didn't catch where, Karen, did you say where they were based out of?
He said that he was over on Wolf Creek.
Okay.
What'd you say the price or the amount was, Jason?
1,115 per mow.
That's what I want to see.
Do you guys want a copy of that? Do you need a copy?
Yeah, I'll take a copy. Just
Okay.
later. It's fine. Jason can see that card.
So this price is comparable with what we had, Mr. Gaiman. I think he was around 980 Mo.
I
Cost
think
of-
the last bid, and it was prior to these gas prices, was
Right.
1,065.
Right, so it did go up a little bit because of the gas.
Yeah.
Who submitted that bid?
That was from
Young's Lawn Care.
Young's
Service.
Lawn Care.
Chris Young.
You want to make copies?
I can come in. Do you want them now?
Here you go.
If you don't want to.
Okay.
So as we only received one bid, I make a motion that we accept the bid from Young's Lawn Care for the 2022 needs of Perry Township.
Second that motion.
Trustee Music,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes,
trustee Mears.
Yes,
okay.
we'll have, get with you.
Is that gonna be like readdressed in a year, next year?
This is just for this season.
It was just for,
Just for this
yeah,
season? Okay.
we can renew it as we go.
Yeah, we won't have to put it out if we're happy with them.
Right.
Do we need to meet out there with them now that they've, you accepted?
Yeah, we'll set something up. Well, we'll ask you to set something up.
Okay.
At your, based on your schedule.
Sure. Cool.
Okay, so any other new business? Okay. So Mr. Price,
Yeah,
you step forward.
I got some questions. While you guys were in executive session, and you brought up about cemetery arch being taken down. I may have missed it because the Zoom meetings are crap. I haven't been able to get in for those for about a year and a half. I don't know. You'd say they're fixed now, that's wonderful, but a year and a half later. it's too
People have
bad.
been in them every week or every meeting that we've had. We've had at least 8 to 10 people that join. So I'm sorry.
But I can't get in. Why is-
Well, you could contact the township and we could try to help you with that, but there's no issue with
Yeah, but that's
that.
after the meeting. I mean, I want to be participating as the meeting's going on. I don't want to do it afterwards. Anyway, that's a whole different deal, but we were talking about this cemetery arch. That was never put in the form of a motion, was it? Not that I know of, and it's hard to get the minutes. It was never in the form of a motion. It was never seconded. And I'm kind of confused about who's doing that and what the bid was and all that's kind
They
of.
were all submitted. We approved the bid from Alliance Excavation. And out of the 3 bids that came in, they were all right around the same price, and that's the one that we chose.
You made a motion to do that, right?
Missy, do you have the minutes from last meeting?
I'd like to copy this if I can get it. Okay, one of the things, and I wanted to ask you. The guy that's doing the repairs on our trucks, he's not zoned business. How's that work?
That was before I got here. I have no idea.
I could tell you that the Secretary of State doesn't care.
Well,
That they absolutely, a business is a business.
when the Secretary of State comes to this meeting and talk to him, he's not here right now. You see, you guys are the fiduciaries of my money that I pay in taxes and what have you. I'm not real pleased about the way it's been spread out. Anyway, let's get to another question. Here's, Taylor. Can you tell me what the maximum height of a building for residential property can be?
I can if I get the zoning book.
Okay, that's pretty pedestrian. And I also wanted to know if you have less than 1 acre of ground and you're thinking about putting up a building, do you have to have a permit for that?
I would look at zoning. I'm new and I check everything in the zoning.
To come up, you would look into zoning.
Absolutely,
Do you ever get plot plans?
I do.
Okay. Was Mr. Filbert down here on Sulphur Springs, did he have a permit for all those buildings?
Yes, he does.
Okay, did you look at his plot plan?
I did.
Did you know that one of the buildings sits directly over his leach pad? You see, I was on the zoning committee. And he was rejected for that building that's sitting there now because it's directly over his leach pad.
Everything that he turned into me, we followed the zoning on that. And if he didn't draw or didn't turn in the drawing correctly, I don't get, they bring that to me. They bring me a plot plan.
That's an illegal building sitting on top of his leach bed. Yeah,
Then that,
because he brought it to the zoning commission when I was on there,
Mhm.
and we rejected that building.
Okay,
And now we've got this situation now. That he's got a building sitting on leach bed. And this is just one of many things. These are the questions that I have.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know how this.
One of the things that I can do is I will get a hold of Montgomery County and have them go out.
I think it's a great idea.
I mean, if there's any questions or I don't know the answer, I find it. So if there's a question on whether something is done incorrectly, then I will get a hold of the right people.
Well, there shouldn't be a question. That's your job. You should make sure there are no questions about.
That's all fine and good, but I am only responsible for what happens from June 1st of 2020 until present. So if that was prior,
It wasn't.
well, we'll check it out.
Okay. And Tim, I want to ask you a question too. We've got one of your officers that's spending a hell of a lot of time digging into people's past that used to work out of this building. It seemed to me like there'd be money well spent if you would take care of what's going on in this township this day. Or like 3 years ago, this is the third time, I think I brought this up in a meeting. I had a four-wheeler stolen. It's never had a report taken on it 3 years ago. And there was never a report. And you promised me in an open meeting that you would have somebody out there to do that. I've been promised that 3 times. And I still have never had a report on it. So I wonder if it's not going to be possible to get somebody up out of that back room, playing on the computer, looking at somebody's past record to see if they can dig up some kind of dirt on them. Rather than do that, can they actually take care of business?
Mr. Price, after I told you I'd send somebody out at the last meeting, I sent 2 people out on 2 different occasions. I don't know if you were home. I don't know if you refused to answer the door, but I have it documented. 2 different people, 2 different days to come out to try to make contact with you to take a report.
Hard to believe that I would miss it because I'm just about always there. I'm on the property somewhere. And
It's documented with dispatch that they were there,
I have a telephone. You have my number.
and we have a telephone too.
Let me know. Let me know.
All you gotta do is call up here.
Make sure I'm there. But it's too late in the game now. It's 3 years old. And that thing's somewhere in some other country by now.
I can't speak for that. I don't know. But when I had a conversation with you as well, you were supposed to be to give them up the titles and registration
I
So we
got
can-
all that laying on my end table.
so we can have the VINs. So I asked for that and you said you- I let you speak, sir. I let you speak. I asked for all that. At that particular time, it wasn't relatively available to you. You had to dig it up, is what you told me. I said, great. When you find it, give me a call.
And I did. Well, anyway, Zach, tell me about the pool you put in at your property.
So I put up, when I was early 2020, we decided to get a pool. And we were gonna get some chickens and I was gonna put up a shed. So I called up here and I talked to Rhonda. And I said, Rhonda, do I need a permit for a shed? And she said, well, if it's under 100 square feet, you don't need a permit.
You're agricultural, zone agricultural, or you residential?
I assume I'm agricultural. I've got farmland that we farm.
Okay,
That is farmed.
yeah, that's.
So I called, so I asked Rhonda, so she says, well, basically, if something's not permanent, you don't need a permit. Cool. That's all I need to know. So early 2020, COVID hit, I put up a pool, I put up a deck, no permits. And then I got elected. And I come in here and I said, once I started seeing paperwork and I said, permit for a pool, an above ground pool, do I need a permit? Karen, do I need a permit for a pool? She said, yes, you do.
Exactly.
Yes, you do. Okay. Karen, what do I need to do to get a permit for a pool? And so we went through and we asked zoning, we asked questions. I had all my paperwork. And basically what it was said was that anything prior to the previous zoning officer that happened, we have enough crap going forward that it just isn't going to get taken care of. There's nothing to do about it. I made the effort. I came, I asked questions. I knew I made a mistake. And that was it.
I'm not slighting you for that.
No, I made a mistake. I admitted it.
What I'm
Yeah.
wondering is, this is all part of the operating expenditures of this township. The more the operating expenditures are supplied by people that are responsible, like you, the less our taxes are. So to me, there's a real flaw here. If we've got a situation where somebody is doing something outside of the zoning rules and not getting a permit as they should.
Sure. And if the correct answers had been given.
Are you saying that Rhonda said that you didn't need a permit for that pool? I don't believe that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't have to believe it. No, let me rephrase. She did not say, I did not need a permit for a pool. She said, if it's not permanent, you don't need a permit. I got an above ground pool. We can come down tomorrow.
It's like a deck. If it's over, or if it's under 24 inches, you don't need a permit for it.
So I took it as that. That was it. I told it, it was my mistake. It was absolutely my mistake. And I asked, I come in embarrassed about it. I told Rhonda and Mike last week when they called me, hey guys, I'm pretty embarrassed about it. And I didn't take care of that.
We all make them, but the thing is, this is blatant.
But it was not blatant.
No, I'm not saying your case it was. Yours was a mistake. We all make mistakes.
Mhm.
But this is flagrant violations. I mean, I'm seeing them all over the place. I'm seeing no motions made, no seconds being made. All of these things
I just,
are
100%.
to the governing of our township.
And I can promise you that each and every one of us are up here trying to do it correctly. And as best of my knowledge, in the 4 months that I've been here, we haven't made a mistake yet. Have not made a mistake yet.
And in answer to your question, Mr. Price, in the minutes for March 18th, which were just approved tonight on the roads and cemetery, President Trustee Hartshorn made a motion to accept the quote from Alliance for the removal of the archway at Pleasant Hill Cemetery. Motion was seconded by Trustee Mears. Motion passed with yes votes by Trustee Hartshorn, Trustee Music, and Trustee Mears.
Was that one of your Zoom meetings?
No, that was last meeting.
That was our last meeting, our last township meeting.
Okay. That's another thing too. I'd like to be notified when there's a meeting coming up. By law, the ORC says that you have to notify the township people when you're going to have a meeting. But yet it's been refused by other people. They say they're not going to do that. But it's Ohio Revised Code. Can't draw the number
A
up.
whole lot of accusations here, Mr. Price, that
That's
carries
not an
zero, that
accusation.
carries zero weight.
Fact.
They are posted in 3 different places. And I believe that your time, sir, is up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Hear
you.
What I said.
I said, thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Okay.
Please have a seat.
Mr. Price, you have anything to say? You marked on here, yes. Okay. Mr. Sim,
You spoke about the archway. That's absolutely correct what you said. There was a motion to accept that bid, but there was not a motion to put it out for bid. I think that's where Mr. Price was going. You did not, in a meeting, say, we're going to put that out for bids to tear down that archway. That was never done. That's where the problem.
Where did our bids come from, then, Mr.?
Huh?
Where did our bids come from?
I don't know.
It was,
But you know, what meeting? I want to know what meeting and what motion, who made that motion and who seconded it. Never happened. You never did one to put out the mowing bids tonight that you just accepted. You never put out in your public meeting here saying, we're going to put that mowing for the cemeteries out for bids. Never happened. No. Did you do that last meeting?
no, it was last meeting.
According to our attorney, I think when we did the thing down there, the watershed, if it was under so much, we didn't have to put out a bid.
You're correct.
You don't have to make a motion to put out a bid.
We can put out, it was in the paper.
Oh, it was in the paper. I'm not arguing that one bit. Absolutely. Okay, it was in the paper, but you never made a motion that you were gonna put it out for bids. That's where I'm going. Okay, that was never done. Now I'm gonna go to the next thing. Some of your officers. I hope they're all like the one you gave the award to, because they're not all like that. I was very disappointed in a couple of situations I've seen with officers. My daughter had a situation. And you've got one officer that is about as unprofessional as it gets. I'm sorry, and I've seen her behavior several times. And that's uncalled for. You have a couple officers that their behavior is uncalled for. And, I want to apologize to this community. Yeah, I've been told I was wrong. I sure was. I think I was wrong in hiring you. That's where I think I'm wrong. I want to apologize to people for that, because you've hired some of these others.
Is there a question?
No, I'm explaining something here. Yeah, there's a question.
Okay.
Why would this be allowed to go on? Why would it be allowed to go on? That an officer could act that way? Now, yeah, that's the question. I don't know why any of you trustees would allow that to go on. I think the stuff that's going on, you should take some kind of action on it, and you haven't. Nobody's taken any action. Let it go. Like I said, everything we've done in the past has been wrong. And I find a real problem with that, because Mrs. Mears sat on there with us, so she was involved in these wrongs just as much as the rest of us. I never hear how she was wrong, and I question that why. But me and Mr. Price, we were wrong. I don't get that. How's that work? That we were wrong, but she wasn't. She voted right along with us on most of these. I think it was unanimous votes most of the time. So, that's pretty hurtful. I think all these comments from some of these police officers, as well as some of the trustees and past ones that have come out derogatory, defaming comments, getting a little old. And it's uncalled for. There's no reason for it. You said you haven't made any mistakes. Well, there's mistakes, You mentioned here,
I believe we've broken the law.
I believe you have. And that'll be for somebody else to sort out. But anyway, you said you're not looking back at anything. When the zoning book, it's got about going back. If somebody's did this or that, then you can go back and you can charge them additional. Why is that in there if you're not going to go back and look at anything in the past? It says in there, if you change the use of something, you have to then come in for a permit. Why is that in there? If you're not going to go back and change. You spoke about, it don't matter what these, I forget what you quoted the name of. You said they don't care if there's a business. No, they don't care. I don't recall what you.
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. Yeah, they don't care if there's a business, but Perry Township has rules and regulations about those businesses. That's where it comes in. And it's not been, maybe that business hasn't always been there. It's there now.
How long's that business been there?
I have no idea. It don't matter. We didn't maybe know about it in the past. We do know about it now. And it couldn't be proven in the past. It's there. Well, I think it can be proven now. Township writes some checks. There's your proof. That is a business. So why is that allowed to go on? I don't get that. If you have an agricultural building, okay, if it's changed to another use, then according to the zoning text, you have to come in and say, okay, now I want a permit for the other use. Why is none of that being done? You're the trustees.
We've asked that question too.
Yeah, well, okay, so you don't have an answer, huh? I mean, the zoning book's there. Do you know what the zoning book says about agriculture? Does any of you know what it says about agriculture?
According to some of you, it means we can do whatever we want.
No, it doesn't. No.
That's what
it said. No.
As long as I can put some chickens in there or some chemicals.
No, that's not correct.
On the farm. And
no, if
I can build a garage without a permit.
if you have over 5 acres. But if it's under 5 acres, then yes, you can dictate where something goes. There's certain restrictions you can put on it at that point. But if it's over 5 acres and it is agriculture, then no, you have no say in it. You're overstepping the line there doing that. This township is overstepping the line if you are saying you can regulate agriculture, because you cannot. And doing these sort of things, you're putting this township at risk. You know, I heard several times tonight talked about, yeah, well, there was this case, we paid out money, there was that case, we paid out money, so apparently there's been mistakes made. Now, maybe they're the past, I don't know, I don't think all of them are that you were mentioning here tonight. Some of them are beyond my time as a trustee, so. I don't know, I think there's some real issues, like I said, that somebody better be looking into, and like I said, I'm highly disappointed. I think if some of you had a daughter that was addressed the way my daughter was addressed on an issue, you would have a different outlook at things. And, you know, I was told because I was there, they couldn't talk. Well, my daughter is a tenant basically of mine. So I do have a legal obligation to ensure the safety and her safety of that property. So I think because of that, I do have rights to be there. You know, and I was told I had no right to be there. Well, yes, I do have a right to be there. Because I had some questions I wanted to ask and I was not given that opportunity. How can I ensure and upgrade the safety of this property? But see, I was not given that opportunity. I think that's pretty lousy out of the police department. To treat a person that way. After all, I pay quite a bit of taxes and stuff in this township, and
Did you not give a verbal statement and a written statement to Detective Sergeant
I
Waymire?
absolutely did not.
That's
I
not
did
what
not
the
get that
report-
opportunity. Did not get that opportunity from Miss Waymire. She got mad and left because I was present, period. Now, why? She don't like me, that's why, and that's uncalled for. I'm sorry.
That's
So,
not the story that I had received, sir. And
you got your cameras, look at them.
I let you talk. Now it's to my time. to talk.
I wasn't finished. Now,
I talked to your daughter,
I-
offered her to come in to sit down and talk with me. I know trustee Mears was contacted.
That's right.
She offered the same thing. Trustee Music was contacted and that was offered the same hand. So if that was an issue, then come in and sit down and talk to us. Doing this, and I understand if you're frustrated, she's a frustrated, embarrassed, whatever. But to come in and sit down to resolve those issues,
Okay.
there's a time and place, and now's not the time or place.
Well, it don't seem to happen if it sits behind closed doors, so the public needs to know how you're behaving. That's why I'm here. They need to hear it. Mrs. Mears, she could be at the meeting, but I can't. I find that interesting. Or Mr. Music, he can be there and be part of this with my daughter. I can't. As her father, as the property maintainer, I can't be there, but they can. That's an interesting.
I never said that you couldn't come. I
You
asked.
didn't say that I could either.
But-
Okay, well, why didn't you say, why didn't you bring your dad and you come? No, you didn't say
No,
that.
I didn't do
No,
that.
I know you
Your daughter
And
called.
if it were your daughter, Missy,
Yes, and
you
I,
would be concerned, and I am concerned.
and I have to tell you this, Mr. Sim, the day after your daughter contacted me, my daughter had to call the police because someone shot her house with a 9mm bullet that we found in the thing. The police did come out, and yes, I am worried, but I did ask your daughter to come in.
I know.
I asked your daughter,
I know.
and if you, and
I know you.
you and I go, and I think the world of you, you got a lot of history. I would rather you help us than sit here and tell us that
I'm trying to help.
That
That's
was-
why I'm here.
basically that's all you're telling us. You suck. Everything you're doing, you're sucking.
Well,
You're not doing anything right. Why are you using this guy? Well, you took the trucks out to the brown guy out in Lewisburg. Is he certified in?
I don't know, but he's not in our township.
He's not in our township, but he's in someone else's. This gentleman's been here for how long? Okay, I mean, it's just
Year, I don't
issues
know.
like that. It's just issues like that. And
20 years. He's not worked in this township 20 years.
Talking about the mechanic.
Could be.
I'm just saying, Dale, I think the world of you, I think you got a lot of history.
But-
I'm just asking you to help us.
Okay.
And my goal for you, I'm sorry, I don't have much longer on this. My goal for this township is to get young people like Mr. Hoops and Mr.
Right.
Music. And for you and I to be able to give them the
And I
guidance.
want it that way.
Okay, but back to your daughter, I spoke to her twice
I know.
and
Well,
I
don't know
would have
about
helped.
Twice, I know once.
I
Did she
returned.
speak to you twice? Okay.
That
Okay.
I did everything I
I wasn't
could.
sure about the twice. I would just, I don't.
And I understand what you're saying about a tenant, but
Well-
she lives in the house. She
I
lives.
tell
in
you, things has been so bad in this township. There's been issues we haven't even called the police on because we just like the results I'm talking about. You talk about the shootings, yeah, we know all about that. We've had bullet holes too.
Yeah.
I can show you.
And you're just like me. You're gonna take care of your kids.
Yeah, I
I'm
am.
gonna take care of mine. By God, if it comes down to it, you can ask him. If it comes down to it and I have to, I'll take care of it myself.
That's what.
But like I said, I'm asking for your support.
I'm not-
I'm for you to come in here and tell us that we all suck.
I'm not saying y'all suck, but I'm saying I think some things need to be improved.
There's a lot of things. There's always room
But
for improvement.
don't be putting it out here all the time, how degrading and stuff that I am. And I don't appreciate that.
I don't,
You know?
anybody's ever said anything about you in a meeting in the past 4 months that I could tell, or
Well,
at
maybe
least the
not the
past,
past 4
or at least the
months.
past year.
But like I said,
Have I read
you know,
every meeting that
we've done all these
year? I mean, I'm not
things,
sure.
all illegal things, you know,
You've come in with a lot of accusations.
And it's like, what, I'd like to know what this is all about. Yeah, you don't know what all I've been accused of. And the police department was involved. I'll tell you that the police department was involved. So that's why I'm here. Yeah, I can't talk to him behind closed doors and get anywhere. So I'm coming public.
Have you ever showed up and talked? Have you ever showed up and tried to talk to me?
I've talked to you in the past. You know I have, Tim. You know I have.
When you were a trustee, you and I had conversations all the time back
I
there.
know we did.
Did we not get things resolved? Yes, we did.
I don't know.
When I showed up looking for the girl that was down there from your mom's property, or maybe it's your property there on Crawford Tom's, the one who jumped out the back window and
Yeah.
killed herself.
And I got my
You-
butt chewed that day down there. And the fire department issue, that's another thing, ridiculous, Tim. And you allowed that to go on with.
Mr. Sim,
Yeah,
I understand you're upset. Okay,
I'm not, I am and I ain't, but
I
I
understand.
want this township improved for the good of everybody.
Like trustee
So
Mears
do we,
said,
promise you.
I think there's a time and a way to deal with
Well, what
it.
is that way in time? I'll ask you that right now.
There's always a
Yeah.
call me.
And I did one day and I appreciated that. You
I
called me back.
I
Yeah.
call me and talk to me, give me.
I would
this
love to
township
talk with you.
Without complaint. Let's be constructive about it instead of the constant putting down. I understand, like, you're very, very passionate about this. I get it. So is Mr. Price. And Mr. Price, I apologize for cutting you off.
You know,
But come talk to me, guys. We
you've
can,
even told
we can
me
get
on the phone,
things
well, I
going in a
haven't
better
been given
direction.
this information. When I asked you about, I haven't been given that. I wasn't privy to that. Why?
it's an ongoing investigation. That's why.
You are one of the fiduciaries, like Mr. Price said, of this township. You are responsible for them accounts. You are one of 3 names on them accounts.
Not on a criminal investigation. That is between the prosecutor's office and our detective and our
So,
police chief.
at
You
this
can make any
I won't
kind of,
talk anymore about that.
you can make any kind of accusation.
Mr. Sim, thank you. We appreciate your
I'm not
time and your
finished
words.
quite.
Well, you are finished.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not
I'm
quite
making a
finished.
motion to
Same
adjourn
time's
this
up.
meeting.
Huh?
We can hash this out. We can talk later.
See, that's, you kick somebody out. That's not.
Trustee Mears,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes,
trustee Music.
Yes.
yes.